Hello, folks. This is Pete Grigsby Jr. for WPRG TV 5. We're here at McDowell High School, what was McDowell High School in 1993. A big gala event, the homecoming event of 2006 for all graduates of McDowell High School from 1934 to 1993. And what a big reunion we're having here today. We're starting off in front of the old high school building. 1938 is on the sign up above our heads. And with me today, going to work this homecoming event is Dr. Don Bevins, and Dr. Don Bevins of WPRG TV 5 fame is with me. We did this 3 years ago, Don.
We did it 3 years ago, and we're doing it again, Pete. And we are here at the McDowell High School for the McDowell High School reunion. And this was started after the McDowell High School closed in the early 1990s. Of course, McDowell consolidating with Wheelwright to form the new South Floyd High School. And, of course, whenever we're up there with the WPRG TV5 cameras at high hat doing basketball games, we've always got Mr. Pete Grigsby doing the play-by-play because he is the voice of the Beaver Creeks. Whenever we're doing Allen Central or South Floyd High School basketball games, Pete Grigsby is our play-by-play man. And, Pete, it's great to have you doing those basketball games.
Boy, it is, Don, and I don't know how long it's been. I think 16 years you and I have been doing this together, high school basketball games in the 15th region. Is that right?
It's
16 or 17.
We
anyway.
started there in the 1980s, somewhere in the late 1980s. And I'll tell you what, if you want somebody to call basketball, who better than Pete Grigsby? He was the longtime basketball coach. As a matter of fact, when you talk about basketball here on the Beaver Creeks in Floyd County, especially up here on Left Beaver, you got to mention Pete Grigsby because this is the Grigsby years. Pete, you were the basketball coach over here at McDowell High School from what years?
From 1961 to 74, Don, 13 years I coached here at McDowell High School, basketball and baseball. That's the only sports we had.
Basketball and the coach, and you've got all of those trophies over there, and we're going to go over there and show some of those trophies off. We're going to get some of those on film.
That'll be nice. You know, over there in Grigsby Fieldhouse, the school board rewarded the work that I did and my boys did and all those supporters and good fans here we had and administrators and teachers. When I went into the office, the school board rewarded me for all those years of hard work in basketball and athletics with building a new gym for us. We didn't have much of a gym in those days. We had a little wooden frame building, a two-story, two-decker, you know, and we even one night we played Martin when I first came here, and we had that place so full that it broke some of the supports underneath, and it was rocking, absolutely rocking at the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm telling you, and so the school board got scared about that. They put some new supports in, but later, many years later, after I went into the office assistant superintendent, pegged to be the county superintendent, they built this gym. I'm ever honored by all of that and what we accomplished here in McDowell High School, and named after me. That's all. That's the greatest thing I've ever had happen to me.
Wow, wonderful. Grigsby Fieldhouse. That's the greatest thing that ever happened to you, even greater than playing with Adolph Rupp at the University of Kentucky. And yes, folks, Mr. Pete Grigsby did play basketball with the Baron, the man in the brown suit, the legendary Adolph Rupp at the University of Kentucky. But now, before you got to UK, you started out right here in Floyd County. Now, Pete is going to take the microphone here in just a few moments. We're going to go over to the Grigsby Fieldhouse where they're right now registering here on this Saturday morning for the McDowell High School reunion here at the home of the McDowell High School Daredevils. Pete's going to go over there and take our microphone, and he's going to interview the alumni, the graduates of this high school for the year 1938 up until about, 1993 when the school closed and consolidated.
The school board consolidated at McDowell and Wheelwright in 93. They're 13 years old at South Floyd.
So you're going to be over there interviewing some of your former basketball players and the students who went to school here when Pete was the coach here. Now, Pete, you did not actually graduate from McDowell High School. I believe you're a Martin Purple Flasher.
I am. I'm a transplant in McDowell, but I love McDowell. I'm from Martin, absolutely raised right there in the town of Martin. My dad was a mayor and owned a lot of businesses, and I just had to walk to school about 200 feet every day. We lived right in the middle of Martin and graduated there and made the all-state basketball team. My senior year, played in several all-star games, and Coach Rupp came and signed me to go to UK. And boy, when he wanted a player back in those days, Don, you went to UK. You didn't go down south. You didn't go west. You didn't go north. Everybody grew up in my era wanting to play for University of Kentucky Wildcats. And that was a great honor and privilege, too, to go there and play for Wildcats. And especially 1954, we were the only undefeated team in the history of University of Kentucky basketball, 1953-54 team. We didn't get to play in NCAA because of the ineligibility of 3 players. They had a crazy rule back then that said that if you were 5-year students like Hagan, Ramsey, and Seropoulos were all Americans, and they deleted them off our squad to play in the tournament. Let them play all season long, win SEC championship, 25-0 record, and wouldn't let them play in the tournament. So we voted not to play, but we were ranked #1 all year long in AP poll.
Coach Pete Grigsby, the coach of the McDowell Daredevils, playing with Adolph Rupp. What an honor just to have even known Adolph Rupp. I mean, whenever anybody talks NCAA basketball, it's always Kentucky, and it's always Coach Adolph Rupp. Now, after you graduated from the University of Kentucky, Pete, what happened then?
I went to MC Napier, coached over there 4 years, won the first district championship in the history of that school the second year I coached, and also was runners-up the following year in 14th regional tournament. And then I came back home to Floyd County and McDow, 1961 to 74, and had some great runs here at McDow, some great players, some great teams. And boy, that's really some of the things I really love to talk about because, you know, they were just it was just fantastic what we accomplished here at McDow. And I want to say this, Don, that this was already an academic school. When I came here, I didn't have to worry about the boys not making their grades. George L. Moore was a great principal. Lloyd Stumbo, I worked with him as assistant principal to him and grade school principal, and they were great principals. They required the boys and the girls, all the students, to make good grades, and that was very, very important here at McDowell. I didn't have to worry about things like that. And I was able to take the boys that I coached had really good grades. They were good students. So it was really a good setting to step into at that time with the school under control, the teachers under control, the students under control, and it helped me be a better coach.
Right, and I'm sure that when you left coaching, that experience right here in the academics and in the athletic fields here at McDowell High School made you a better administrator when you moved down to the central office in Prestonsburg, too.
Oh, yes, it helped me a whole lot when I moved down there as assistant superintendent under Charles Clark and became school superintendent in 1976. So I've been around a long time, as you know, still assistant superintendent.
Yeah. Still the assistant superintendent in 1996, 20 years later, 76, 86, 96, 20 years.
Yeah, and still assistant superintendent now and enjoy every minute of it. Starting my 50th year in school administration, school teaching in the state of Kentucky. In Floyd County, 46 of it, but I enjoy every minute of it. I enjoy working.
Oh, you've got to, Pete. You've got to. And now the assistant superintendent of your Floyd County schools and the McDowell Daredevil coach. We're with Mr. Pete Grigsby. And, of course, you're going to be seeing a lot of Pete once that 2006-2007 basketball season starts up. And, of course, when it comes time to the district tournaments here in the 58th district in Floyd County, Pete is always our play-by-play. He's our go-to man. And then right through the 15th region for both the girls and for the boys in basketball. Now, again, we are here at the McDowell High School. It is the McDowell High School reunion. And, Pete, this is on a Saturday morning. We're registering now. And, of course, we're going to have lunch over here today. And then there's the big dance with Greg Hall and the band from up here at Wheelwright, which is called Long Shot. They're going to be entertaining at the dance tonight.
Really good.
And they are really, really good. Greg Hall, and by the way, if you go to the South Floyd football games like the one we went to last night, that's Greg Hall who's up there doing the PA, who's the public address announcer up there. So his band's going to be entertaining tonight. But now, Saturday, this is just a one-day event. We had a lot going on here last night at McDowell, Pete, and understand on Friday night, last night, you were quite active. You were back putting on the well, as the assistant superintendent, you were putting on the coaching uniform again last night. Is that right?
I got to coach some of my ex-basketball players, and Johnny Ray Turner was coaching also. He's an ex-coach here at McDowell High School, one of my boys.
And currently state senator?
Currently state senator. And we had the county circuit clerk here playing last night, Doug Hall, who was a former Daredevil. We had a really good time, Don, over here last night. And the game ended up, we divided team. Johnny Ray and I did divide a team up in about 9 and 9 players apiece. The older players played with me. We had 1 or 2 younger players, and then they had the Johnny Ray's bunch was here. And so we played to a 35-35 tie. I can't believe it. Scott Shannon hit a three-pointer there at the end of the game and tied it up for Johnny Ray's team. But that's a good way to end it, wasn't it?
Oh,
35-35 tie.
35 tie.
And we were awfully proud that we didn't have to use any oxygen tanks. We played straight through 5-minute quarters, and we didn't have to send anybody to the hospital, so we got out of that all right.
Well, what were the age group of these old timers of McDowell playing? Who was your oldest player over there last night?
One of them that we interviewed all the players before the game. And the oldest that was here, we didn't play, he wasn't able to play, was Ray Turner, 1946 district championship team under Esther Hall, Coach Esther Hall.
Yes.
And we interviewed him. Bobby King had played under Esther Hall. And then the oldest player probably that was active out there on the court might have been my Steve Smith. I'm not quite sure. He played in 71 and 72 for me, and he was All-State and played on the NCAA championship team at NC State in 74. He's the only player that I know of in Floyd County, if anybody knows any better, only player in Floyd County that has played on a national championship college basketball team, NCAA champion. He played at NC State in 74. So anyway, that's quite an honor too, that we have somebody like him, and of course Grady Wallace, who made All-American down in South Carolina.
Right, Grady Wallace, who played at Betsy Lane, and who I believe just a couple of weeks ago passed away at the age of 71, I believe.
Right, I played against Grady in high school. I was a year ahead of Grady, and he was a junior and I was a senior at Martin. But anyway, Steve might have been the oldest. Glenn Turner wasn't here. He would have been up there ranked among some of the oldest players. But you see, some of those players, if they're getting up there 35 years ago, we're getting up there in their 50s. So it's so we think about playing half court, Don, but the boys they say, no, full court, it won't be. So we let them huff and puff down the floor and slowed it down some, and had 3 substitutions. You know, one of them got tired, they just came out. We put a sub in.
In the Grigsby Fieldhouse here at McDowell High School. Well, what about the cheerleaders? Did you have cheerleaders in the old timers game last night?
We had them over there. We didn't get out on the floor. Didn't have their uniforms, but they gave a couple cheers. Yeah, well, we recognized the cheerleaders and the girls basketball players. We had 2 girls basketball players there. They played with us too. Right. So anybody that was a former basketball player at McDowell got to participate.
Well, that was the basketball game that was on Friday night here with the former alumni and the graduates of the McDowell High School. We're here on Saturday morning, and we're going to be right up through lunchtime. I'm Dr. Donald Bevins for WPRG TV5 with Mr. Pete Grigsby. We're standing in front of a building that was constructed in the year 1938. This is the former McDowell High School, which actually is still in use here in 2006 as a family resource center, Pete.
Yes, it is. A couple special ed classes are downstairs behind us, and then they have a nursing clinic, a health clinic inside also. So it's well used, really, and very useful. And it is the symbol of McDowell High School as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
It's the oldest building. It was always the main building, high school building here at McDowell. And it's the most recognizable building at McDowell High School than any other building we have. And it's still a fine building, and the school board is still utilizing. And I hope it stands forever myself.
Well, I sure hope it does, too. And speaking of a building that may stand forever, it's an old building on the other side of this building. Was built in 1938. There's an even older building over here that is constructed of stone taken from the mountains of Floyd County, Kentucky. And I believe that building over there was built by the WPA, the Work Project Administration, during the Depression years when Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, was President of the United States. What can you tell us about that building over there? I think there's a sign that says senior building or something like that.
We used to have senior classes over there, Don, when I was here as principal and coach. And I think Mrs. Turner and Mrs. Moore, Violet Moore and Francis Turner were senior sponsors. And that building was divided into 2 classrooms. And it was forever the home of the seniors at McDowell High School. And it is a WPA building. It was constructed years ago. And it's a good thing that they did. We didn't have much room here. In those days, we had about 1,100 students, K through 12, here on this campus.
But they didn't all go in this building.
No.
I understand there was an elementary school building that was down here, and it's since been torn down. Is that right?
There was a real old elementary building down here, which was older than this one. And I forget how far it went back, maybe 1930, 31, 32. And it just practically fell down before they rebuilt.
Yes.
Tore it down, rebuilt. It was the site where the cafeteria and the field house is. And then we gradually built the building back there next to the creek, the primary building.
Next to Fraser's Creek, right? That is Fraser's Creek.
1951. And then the next building built was this one over here to our right, Don. And that one was built in the 60s. And then there was one later, a few years ago, the 8th grade, we call 8th grade building, and so forth, with the new library in there, where my office was when I was last principal over there. That was built in the 60s, late 60s and early 70s. So that's how this campus was constructed. And back behind here, some wooden frame buildings, and the Head Start, Center of Head Start on Left Beaver was moved up here, McDow built. So we have a Head Start Center behind this building.
All right, and it's still very much in the use in the year 2006 right here at McDowell. Well, we are here at McDowell in the heart of Floyd County, actually at the mouth of Frazier's Creek, where Frazier's Creek flows into Left Beaver Creek out here. And then, of course, you go on up Left Beaver Creek, and that goes up through Drift and on up to Wheelwright and Melvin and up there toward High Hat and the South Floyd High School. Pete, where do you live at right now today?
I live at Minnie, Kentucky. I've been living there about 28 years. I did when we first moved here in '61. We lived at what we called Bristlebuck, and that's just across the bridge up here at the creek. We lived in 2 sites up there. Bought a brick house down there at the mouth of Royal Holler, and when we moved down here to Minnie, well, we sold that house, and been living here that long, since 1961. Can't leave the place. Found a good home, and we're staying here.
Right, I found a good home, and we're staying here. That's Pete and Mrs. Pete Grigsby, of course. Phyllis, that's right. Yeah. Now, Pete has a son, and he has a daughter. And when you talk about girls basketball, you've got to talk about Pete's daughter. Pete, tell us what kind of a national record that you can say with extreme pride in your heart that your daughter holds.
Well, she holds so many. I'll tell you, truthfully, she holds the national high school scoring average in high school for all high school girls basketball players in the history of the United States. 46.1 points per game is what she averaged. The only player in the history of high school basketball to beat that average was Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain, and he averaged 46.2 in high school. So during her career, she holds the most points total in high school. The highest, one of the top 3 in the number of points scored in a single game, which was 81. And she holds so many of them nationally. She's in the National Hall of Fame. She's in the Kentucky Hall of Fame. She's in the KHSAA Hall of Fame. You name it, she's been there and done that. And I want to give credit to my wife, Phyllis. Phyllis Martin was here at McDow. We went to UK at the same time. We dated at Summit High School. And that's the reason I'm up here. You know, she's the one who brought me up here to McDow.
Oh, yeah.
And so Jerry takes after her. I tell everybody, Jerry takes after her academically and athletically. And, of course, we had another daughter, Gay, who was cheerleader here. She and Jerry were valedictorians in their classes. And Pete, the third, was second-team All-Stater. Jerry was All-Stater. And Pete's out there in television land out in Kansas City as a meteorologist.
That's what meteorologist. He's the weatherman, by the way.
The weatherman, he does well. So anyway, that's what I'm doing up here. This little high school girl was ex-cheerleader here for years. I think she and Glenn May Stumble and Faye Stumble holds the record here for being cheerleaders at McDowell. George L. Moore got them down in the 7th grade, and they were varsity cheerleaders all the way up through the 12th grade. So I think that's when she caught my eye.
Yeah, she caught your eye, and then you won her heart. You won her heart, and hey, we could settle down and make a happy family. That's right. And Jerry Grigsby, of course, that's your daughter, and the all-time basketball scorer, right up there with Wilt Chamberlain. Now, wow, that's just boggles my mind to even think about that.
She's in the annual booklet. They got a picture in there and everything, all her scoring records and everything she achieved. You know, she only made one I'm proud of too. She made her first B in school as a junior at UK. The only B she made in grade school, high school, and college was 1B at UK in junior year.
Wow.
Good student.
Oh, I'm to say the very least in academics and in athletics, Mr. Pete Grigsby, the assistant Floyd County school superintendent. Of course, Pete, we see you at all of these Floyd County school board meetings, and of course when we were up at May Valley Elementary School on Monday night this week, you were there on television, of course, inviting everyone to come out to this big festival here that we call the McDowell High School Reunion. Now, the last time that we did this was 3 years ago, right?
3 years ago, absolutely. That was our first time, and last time we're glad they invited us back, Don. And I'm just glad to be here and be a part of it. It's a great reunion. We're going to see a lot of great friends, a lot of great teachers of the past, principals, coaches, and everybody's going to have a great time. And camping off tomorrow, of course, on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's a big 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here in the Labor Day holiday of 2006, and I guess Labor Day holiday is a good time to have this. That lets people stay around on Sunday because they got one more day on Monday that they can take off from work before they have to go back to their jobs on Tuesday there. Of course, a lot of these people are retired, but I'm sure that they want to come in with their children or with their grandchildren, and maybe if they live out of state and in some other states, maybe they might live up in Oregon, and they want their kids and their grandkids to come back and say where Dad and Mom went to school.
Right.
You know, and they can do that right here at McDowell High School and come to Floyd County, Kentucky.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great time, and Dr. Don and I are going to show you the best part of it, we think, throughout this film.
And we're getting ready to do that right now. And Pete, we're going to try to take a tour of the 1938 McDowell High School building. But right now, we're going to go over to the Grigsby Fieldhouse. And I'm going to give Pete the microphone here, and we're going to do a whole bunch of interviews. And we're going to go over there where registration is going on right now, Pete.
Okay, good enough, Don. So go along with us. We're going to try to take you through some of these events today here at McDowell, formerly McDowell High School on McDowell Elementary campus. Jr. again, speaking on behalf of me and Dr. Don. We're inside Grigsby Fieldhouse where we're having the registration for all the alumni of McDowell High School from 1934 to 1993, and we're at the registration table up front. Don, on the stage is Joan Chaffins. She's getting ready to start another activity, but there's my wife waving at us, fellas. She's not shy of camera either, but we want to show you some of the registration here in the back. Joyce Turner, tell us a little bit about registration. How many of you registered this morning?
I have no idea.
A bunch of them?
A lot. Quite a few. We haven't had a chance to coordinate and see how many actually registered.
Well, now you have this whole row of tables now for registration. You got everybody about registered?
We're pretty much going to shut down registration now because we're going to start our assembly and get ready for lunch.
You going to have an assembly now?
Yes, we're going to have the assembly now, and then we'll break for lunch.
Okay. And then after lunch, what?
Then we'll go to our different class meetings. There's a schedule in the envelopes so that everybody know where to go for their class meeting. Okay?
Okay, thanks, Joyce. Come here, Greg Adams. You're on camera. I want to get Greg on. I'll tell you why. Because for the first time in the history, Dr. Don, of this school, we got air conditioning in the gym. What about that? And here's the man that did it.
Well,
He's a graduate of McDowell, too. Greg Adams, he's head of our maintenance department in Floyd County Schools. Does outstanding work. Tell us about it, Greg.
Graduated in 1971. Took us about 2 weeks to get the air conditioning installed, and I hope everyone enjoys it. And not only the alumni enjoying it, but the students that's here now.
Thanks, Greg. Outstanding work. Appreciate it very much. The air conditioning our gym here in McDowell for the first time. How are you ladies?
We're doing fine, thank you.
Could you introduce yourselves?
My name is Eddabelle Mitchell Gluba.
Okay. What year graduate are you?
59.
59. Okay.
Yes.
Good. And you are?
Maudine Mitchell Cottle. I'm from Prestonsburg.
Okay. You're not a graduate of McDowell?
Yes.
You ought to be with Cottle's name.
I did. I graduated from McDow. I didn't graduate, but I would have graduated in 53.
Well, we accept you anyhow, okay?
Thank you.
That's a left beaver name, a Cottle name, I'm telling you. And over here we have some guys at the table. I don't know why. I always see some of these ex-Daredevils back here in the back. They always sit in the back. Tilden Ray, how you doing, buddy? Stand up here.
Pretty good, Pete. Pretty good.
Tilden Ray Stumble, ex-Daredevil, played for Esther Hall. Didn't have the pleasure of playing for me because we played against each other, didn't we, Tilden?
We certainly did and had a good time of doing it.
I'm telling you, we enjoyed it. Daredevil, what year was you graduate? 53?
51. I graduated in 51.
Okay, I graduated in 52.
Yeah.
Never will forget that game we had down at Martin in the
down
tournament.
Martin. Oh, man, that was a final. That was right down to the end.
I'm telling you, you took a shot and I was under the basket. Oh, no, that would have put your head
I
up.
missed
probably.
it. I missed that shot on that drive-in.
It just snilled inside. I never will forget that shot you took.
Neither will I.
I'm telling you. And we fortunately rebounded. I got the rebound to the inside position on Palmer and threw it down the court and we scored.
And you scored. You beat us 1 point, didn't you?
Yeah.
One point. Yeah. That was a great game.
Estill Hall was his coach.
Yeah, Estill Hall.
Tim, good to see you, buddy. You looking good. You looking good. All right, let's walk up here and let's see. Cotton, say hello to us, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Just say hello. You're on camera.
I'm on camera.
It's
All
not
right.
Candy camera, but it's WPRG
Candy camera. Okay.
camera.
I'm Cotton Anderson, Russell Anderson. I graduated in 1950 from McDow, and been in Michigan. Had 7 successful businesses there.
You done quite well, I understand.
I made a few dollars. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Since I'm on camera, let me say this: I've given Jesus $35 million since I left there.
Well, I'm sure that's one person who appreciates it.
$35 million.
And here's a man called Wild Bill Stumbo that played for McDowell prior to Tilden Ray under Estill Hall too. How you doing, Wild Bill? You looking fine?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. We had some good ball clubs back in your day. I remember guarding you and Tilden Ray both when I played.
Yeah, that happened.
Are you doing all right?
Yeah, getting along
Well,
good.
good. It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
We're going to have prayer now. All right, we just had the opening prayer for the General Assembly. That's what they're doing right now, is having the opening prayer, and then the General Assembly run by Joe Chapins and the committee at McDowell High School. Yes, sir?
I was aiming to tell you, I believe me and you are the only 2 purple flags that graduated from Martin.
Is that right, Bobby?
Yeah. I dropped out here on kind of a hardship.
Yeah.
And then I went back to school in '67 and then got my GED and graduated at Purple Flags in the auditorium.
Okay, Bobby, good. Good for you. Good for you. Here's Teddy Hall, Theodore Hall. Oh, we're saying the Pledge of Allegiance, Don. We better get this. We're in the back of the gym, so we didn't hear that announcement.
Now just stay up. I should have done that at the beginning.
She's having everybody to stand now. That's Joan Chapins, chairman of the homecoming committee here at McDowell. And you see the big balloons up there featuring 2006 homecoming, Don. Dr. Don is still with me on the camera. I know he's filming everything he can. And while they're doing whatever it is, I want to introduce Teddy Hall.
Hello, Coach.
One of my buddies here.
How you doing?
One of my ex-players. 1968, right?
That's correct. Yes, it is.
One of the most versatile teams we ever had at McDowell. You boys could really play.
Well, we tried.
Yeah.
Had a good coach. Had to hustle.
Yeah, a lot of hustle.
Knew if we did, and we'd be running wind sprints.
We had 9 good players back then, Teddy.
Yeah, we did.
9 good players. 8 seniors and a sophomore.
And, yeah, Sammy was a sophomore, Sammy Meade.
Yeah. And Tommy Martin and Sammy Adams.
Stan Ward, Mickey Newsom, Jerry Moore, Keith Patton. Good group.
It certainly was. You boys had 8 seniors and we had that Sammy Meade there as sophomore. Meade. Great ball club. Should have gone to state, got beat 2 points in finals of 15th regional.
Yeah, Meade beat us.
Well, we're honoring the state of Kentucky now in the General Assembly. Don and I are in the back of the gym, and all the festivities seem to be up front. And my old Kentucky home being sung by the congregation. Very appropriate. The Star Spangled Banner honored our country, and then the state of Kentucky. Very appropriate. Well, we're going to walk up here towards the front a little bit, Don, and capture some of this. What do you think?
Let's go, Pete. Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, this is Miss Joan Chapins. We're going to film some of this for everyone. It's very important. She's recognizing all the teachers, past teachers. Alberta Turner, Frida Tackett, Bobby Allen. There's Violet Moore.
Which one's Violet Moore?
Here's Violet in front here. Bobby Lynn Moore. Hugo and Sally Miller. Hugo, ex-principal teacher, and Sally's there.
Okay.
She's a teacher, ex-teacher there, English teacher. And Hugo was the principal at one time. And over here we have doggone, I forgot her name.
Her name is
yeah, Miss Billups, Emma Grace Billups, doggone it. And you're, yeah, Sylvia, okay, good. So anyway, that's some of the ex-teachers who are up here. And there's back to Joan Chapins and the ceremonies here.
This lady's from 1934.
1934. She's getting the big hand. She's getting a standing room applause for that.
Well, I saw Pete out there talking and heard him talking about how great Floyd County was, and I certainly agree. I live in Lexington now, but I'm home at least every 3rd weekend with my mom. My mom can remember just about everybody that ever grew up in Floyd County. Had a great mind. I think it came because she went to school at McDow.
Might want to come around and speak to her. I'm sure that she probably could tell you some things about McDowell that we don't know about. We have a gift for her. And we're so glad that she was here. We did hear from another 1934 graduate, O.C. Gayhart, and she and her husband were planning to be here, but they didn't make it evidently. So maybe they will make it before the weekend is over.
That's the first group, 1934, when McDowell started.
To our Alumni Association. He graduated in the class of 1957. And when we had the last reunion, he was very generous with us with a monetary donation. And he did that this time, but he doubled it. And at this time, I would like to call up Mr. Charles Hall.
Sounds good.
Okay.
This picture that you see, I'm going to turn it around here. This was done, it's a photograph done by Kenny Joe Mitchell, and I couldn't get the exact year that he graduated, but it was in the 70s. And Kenny Joe will have a display later today of his photographs. This is the original Old Beaver Church down Drift.
I requested when I made the gift to this wonderful organization, I made a request that they do one favor for me, and I'll be brief with this, and that was in the alumnus basketball game last night, if they would shorten the three-point line to maybe have a free throw shooting contest for us older guys that couldn't get it up from the three-point line, and they were generous to do that. And I think probably the only time that I've ever been late for anything, and my wife would attest to this, is I was late last night and didn't make the free throw shooting contest. We had a meeting down with our class down at Brenda's, and I was, unfortunately, it didn't. And I had been practicing for the last couple of weeks on my free throws, and I had perfected it, but I think Barry Spurlock made 20 out of 20, and I probably wouldn't have won anyways. So, but again, it's a pleasure to me just to be a part of this, and thank you for recognizing me.
This time, too, we would also like to thank Mr. Steve Dawson, who gave us some support and some water today and some signs, and you'll appreciate that water later on today. And Steve graduated in the class of 1985. Our response to this homecoming has been, I think, greater than some of the last one anyway. We had over 300 people that pre-registered, and then today I have no idea how many registered, but we did hold it open another 30 minutes, so that's great. Right now I'd like to introduce you to what I call the double daredevils. This bunch back here, that they have worked so hard. I think we started in February, and we would get discouraged because we sent out over 2,000 letters at first, and we just kept receiving letters back, and we did attempt to try to locate and contact personally as many people as we could. Some of you, maybe not you all, you're here evidently, but if someone says to you, I didn't get contacted, just tell them we tried. So anyway, I'd like for these ladies to stand up, tell you their names and the class that they graduated in. That's the first time they've not done what I told them to do.
Debbie Mead, 1967.
Diane Mullins Adams, 1970.
Violet Parsons Shelton, 1949.
Donna Parsons Hall, 1962.
Clara Hicks Johnson, 1957.
Yeah, you all can applaud. They need it. They deserve it.
Maudie Cottle Osborne, class of 1958.
Gay Little Dawson, class of 1964.
Betty Stumbo Akers, class of 59.
Loretta Hall Boland, 58.
Joyce Turner Howell, 63.
We also would like to thank those other people. Some people supplied us with addresses, some fixed letters for us, but these mostly were the ones that were faithful every week, and the ones that have had husbands, I think they still have them, so it's not too bad. The next thing I have on here is Miss Ruby Akers and the Drift Women's Club. They've been giving a scholarship to high school students on Left Beaver for more than 45 years. And I'd like to recognize Miss Akers. And the Drift Women's Club originally started this reunion, and we do owe them a debt of gratitude. Where is Miss Akers? Miss Akers is going to come. She deserves that too. words to express how happy it makes me to see all of you come back to McDow and that you get together so often. This makes the 5th or 4th reunion, and I hope it continues. And the Drift Women's Club gives a scholarship every year in honor of George L. Moore. We call it the George L. Moore Scholarship, and even though we still give scholarships to South Floyd, but because of McDowell, we want to leave it as George L. Moore. And I have a list of names here of 52 that we have given scholarships to every year. And I don't want to take up the time to call off these names, and I'd like for them to stand and be recognized. Every George L. Moore Scholarship recipient. And you might be able to tell your names.
That is Janet Pack. Janet Pack, guidance counselor here at McDowell Elementary, received that award from George L. Moore.
I knew you were scattered out and it'd be hard to locate all of you. Well, just keep up your good work, and I love all of you.
That's Joan Chaffins there as chairwoman of the committee, and also Ruby Akers, longtime teacher here at McDowell High School.
No. This lady didn't even graduate from McDowell. She graduated from Maytown. Is it Maytown?
Caney.
Caney.
Not County High School.
Not County High School, she says.
Went on to Caney Junior College, and then now to Alice Ward.
Okay. All right.
Ruby Akers from Drift, Kentucky. They've had a long-standing Drift, a women's club. It's done a lot of good over the years, Dr. Don, about the last 50 years or so. And she's been escorted back to her table.
The class of 1957 has a support program for the McDowell Elementary students. And at this time, I would like to ask the representative, the class of 1957, to come up and tell you a little bit about that, and that happens to be Charles Hall.
We'll forgive Charles for coming in late last night. If I'd known he wanted to shoot free throws, we'd had him shoot some afterwards.
I think they requested that this stays to a maximum of 5 minutes, and I'll try to do that. I have probably a couple minutes more than 5 minutes, but I'll try to keep it to the 5 minutes. Paul Jones was our class president of 1957, and Paul was scheduled to make this little presentation today of what our class is doing. And unfortunately, Paul's daughter was killed in an accident this past week, and he and Shelby are staying at home. And I would like for everyone to wish them a prayer and a recovery from this, and wish them your best, as I do, and everyone in our class. And we sure wish he would be here to present this, but I'll endeavor to do that myself and tell you a little bit about what our class has done. Several years ago, about 10 years ago, we were meeting in one of the class reunions, and a group of us said, what can we do to return something back to the community of the ones that could afford it, and even if you couldn't, is what can you do to give something back? And we determined at that time and we hassled back and forth if we started something, whether it be a scholarship or whatever it might have been, we hassled around with this for a long time, for a couple hours really in our meeting, and we decided that a lot of things go to older kids, the scholarships, and we felt like we wanted to do something for the kids at an earlier age and catch them before, if you had an opportunity to turn a kid around or something, or do something that would make their life differently, that's what we decided. So we started our project, and we just so happened to call it McDowell Project 57, and I guess that was in honor of our class, but there's nothing that's relevant about the 57 other than it was our group. In that 10 years, our class has contributed significantly to a fund that I think it's probably the teachers and the officials at the grade school here realizes of what our project and funds have done and what it has done for some of the kids. That's the unfortunate ones. No kid goes without pencils, papers, supplies in the school. Hopefully no kid goes without, if they need a coat or something, different projects that we sponsor during this program. Now the only reason that I'm telling you that our class has done this is not to tell you that, well, our class is out in front, we're doing this, is several people has come to Clara, Paul Jones, and different ones in our class and said they would like to participate in this, and how could they? And what we're doing today is reaching out to every graduate or anyone that ever attended McDowell High School and ask them if you would like to be a part of it. This is not a group of people that wants to do something exclusively. We're reaching out today. If any person or any class wants to join this or start your own group, we would be more than willing to help and tell you how we went about doing this. And you can come and be a part of ours, and we will enlarge this to where we can do so many more things to the community. You really can't understand of how wonderful a feeling it is when somebody comes and tells you that something was done for a kid that didn't have a coat or didn't have supplies, and you know that you helped that kid. It's a feeling I think every one of you would want to have and do in the future. So we're offering this. Today, our class, if someone in each class wants some attendant of our class to come and talk to you individually in your meeting today with your class, we would love to come and tell you how we've gone about doing this and how you could come and join with us and be a part of it. And we would look forward to it, coming to your class today and talking to you and letting you be a part of this. It's a wonderful feeling. So we want to continue on and thank everyone in our class for participating. And I can't say any more about it. It gets emotional. Thank you.
Charles Hall, class of 57.
I substituted here, I'm substituting now, and I substituted at the end of the year last year, and I wasn't really aware of where those supplies are coming from. And there were 2 children in the room that I was substituting in that came to school with shoes that were off their feet. One little guy, he had outgrown his, and he was walking on the backs of his shoes. So I was told by Miss Turner that all I had to do was send them over to the Resource Center, which Miss Clara Johnson is the director. Clara, would you please stand? She also is in the class of 57. They both came back with new shoes. And so, please, if you would like to do something to help the children in the area, we still do have children who have needs. And So see somebody in that class of 57, Charles Hall or Clara, because it is a very worthwhile thing. And they keep school supplies there. Notebooks, pencils, anything the kids need. It's a wonderful program. Now I would just like to call out each decade, and let's see how many people are here from every 10 years, okay? If you don't mind standing up, and
Don.
we'll see who's got the biggest group here.
Right.
Let's start with the 1930s.
1930s decade coming up.
We know that this lady, 30s, anybody else besides Miss Newman?
Miss Newman, only one. 40s?
If you graduated in the 40s, that's from 1940 to 49. Look here. This is wonderful.
Oh, here's a bunch, Don, to your right.
What about the 50s from 1950 to 59? Great.
Oh, look at the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
leave them up there. Leave them up there.
Is that your wife in the 50s?
Oh, yeah, that's my wife back there in the 50s.
The 50s through 59. 60 through 69. I mean, that. Oh, they're telling you to stand a little longer. They want to get this on camera. You want us to start again?
Yeah, go back to the 50s.
We're going to go back to the 50s. Everybody sit back down.
We didn't get everybody.
You want to get on this video. He's going to panic now. Okay, we're going to the 50s to 59. Please stand again.
See, we're not in the 50s. Way over here to your left, over here.
Okay, I got him. I got him.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's try 60 to 69. Hey, listen, we got a group here too.
Up there's that stand, son.
I got him waving. I see him, baby.
Okay. Good group. Over here's one. Right. Okay. They're on candid camera and they don't know it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And let's see, that we started left at 69, 70 to 79. Good. All right.
70.
70 to 79. Good group of them.
There. Okay. All right.
One of these days, you all look the oldest of the rest of us. 1980 to 89.
Well,
Exclusive group, believe me. 90 to 93.
must be some cheerleaders up front. Now that's it. 1993 is the last ones we have.
93 was the last class. Okay, we're gonna.
That was good, Pete.
I'd like to see. We had a great time at that alumni ball game last night. Pete Grigsby and Johnny Ray Turner were the coaches. Let's give them a hand. And the game ended perfectly with 35 to 35. We had a blue team and a gold team. And we had a lot of fun. But last night there was a guy that didn't make it. He had something that he had to do with his family. And he told us all the time that he wanted to be Pete Grigsby's manager. And that man is Doffy Hall. And we have saved him his manager's shirt. And we would like for him to put it in.
Where are you, Doffy?
Come on down, Doffy. Get this shirt.
Come on, Don, follow me. One of our greatest fans, McDowell High School basketball, is Mr. Doffy Hall. He keeps up with the teams every year, even South Floyd High School, right, Doffy?
Right, I do.
You sure do. Great fan. Doffy's one of the greatest fans that we've had in McDowell High School basketball all the years since I've known him, since he was here at McDowell. He has followed our ball teams religiously every year at McDowell up through '93, and now he follows South Floyd High School. And I'm very honored that he wanted to be manager of one of my basketball teams. Thank you, Doffy.
You're welcome.
We also had, well, the teams were introduced last night, and one of the earlier teams, and we decided we had a shirt for another team member, and one of the men that were introduced last night was in one of those early teams, and we just decided he was the oldest one from a ball team here, and he didn't get to play last night. But that was Mr. Ray Turner. Is he here? We wanted to give him an alumni team shirt. If he's not here, we'll give it to one of the family and they can give it to him. But give him an applause. He was here last night. He's always been a faithful Daredevil fan. His brother Bobby is here, and Bobby will accept it for him. You want to say something, Bobby?
Oh, Pete. Come on, both of them. We'll hold both of them. I believe he's a little gun shy.
Yeah.
Microphone shy.
Well, we had a whole bunch of Turners that graduated from McDowell High School, and we all enjoyed playing basketball here, and we loved every minute of it. So that's about all I got to say.
Whole bunch of Turners.
A whole bunch of Turners.
I played against a whole bunch of them at Martin, from Martin, and I coached a whole bunch of them. Let me tell you, I'm very proud of all of them. And Ray was here last night, and he stayed for the festivity to start with. And I tell you, it was glad to see some of those old timers. And Bobby, that ball club in '46 won the first district championship here at McDowell that you guys played on, and Ray. And I was just a young boy watching them play back then, beat the Purple Flash.
Who's got all the gray?
No kidding. I saw these boys win the district, and he went to regional.
Right. I also had 3 boys played here, too.
It seemed like I recall those 3.
I think they took us to the state twice, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great tradition, the Turner family in basketball.
We had a contest too in the community. We called it our Blue and Gold Spirit Award, and we would like to give an award, a plaque, to the business that we felt like best represented the spirit of the old Daredevils. And we had several businesses that did decorate inside, and so maybe you all will get to see some of those today. But this goes to Rita Hamilton Allen. She has a beauty shop down Minnie. It's called His and Hers, and she did a fantastic job.
Rita was also one of our former cheerleaders, Dr. Don, here at McDowell High School, and we have several cheerleaders out there in the group. I don't know.
We also had homes that were decorated, and there weren't as many this year as been before, but we do have winners. First prize is going to win $100, and that is Diane Mullins Adams. Second prize goes to Bobby King.
Bobby's ex-Daredevil. He was here last night, Friday night. Here comes Bobby over here, ex-Daredevil, playing under Esther Hall.
But it rained, and she took her stuff in, so we didn't get to see it. But she'll do it again next time. Thank you.
And Clara Johnson, of course, is ex-graduate, 1957 here at McDowell High School.
I heard that Bobby had lights out. Blue and gold lights. Oh. Well, we may have to give an award the next time for the best lights. Thank you, Bobby.
Come over here a minute, Bobby.
Okay.
I told Dr. Don you're ex-Daredevil, buddy. Proud of you. You were here last night with us. Enjoyed the game.
Sure, enjoyed it. I loved it, really. I thought they did a great job. I have to give them a lot of credit. They had more heart than I would have.
Bobby, congratulations on your win there.
Last week or whenever. Would you please stand? A long way to get here. Would you just yell out the states, some of the states that you came from? Michigan, North Carolina.
Florida.
North Carolina, Florida. Where? Ohio. Oregon. Oh, my goodness. Okay, any more? Delaware. Well, that's wonderful. Let's give them a hand. We also would like for, if there's several of your family members that have shown up today, would you please stand? We wanted to just recognize the family that has most members that are present this year.
Hold this just a second.
Where's that Hall family? They are?
Yeah, McDowell. You can definitely bet there's halls.
Okay, there's, I bet Tonda and her family back there, they probably, and then there was somebody over here that had several family members. How many? 9 family members over here. How many, Tonda? About 12, she said. Let's give them both a hand. That's great. Now we'd like to see those who are here for the first time for the reunion. If this is your very first time.
Well, there's 3, 4, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7. Over here's 1. Over here's
Now we
1.
want
Hey,
to see
about
those
that.
that have lived away from McDowell for a long time. Maybe since you left here after high school. And we're so glad that you came back today. Let's give them a hand.
Some over there, Don. Yeah.
We have one more category here, and we've been made aware that there were some high school sweethearts who are still married in this day and time. So if you're here with your mate and you met here at McDowell High School, would you please stand? And even if your mate's not here, as long as you're still married to them, look at this, isn't this wonderful? That should attest to McDowell romance, shouldn't it? They lasted. This is wonderful. Okay, now we're about, and Mr. Grigsby wanted me to, he said last night he forgot to recognize anybody that had been a cheerleader in high school, so if you would stand up.
Come on, stand up.
Let's go right here with it. Stand back up. Stand back up. Band members.
There's my wife, Phyllis, cheerleader for 7 years at McDowell.
I got her.
Okay. Rita, Allen, Rosemary.
So you're all together here, you need to make an impression on it. Okay, I have a few announcements to make, and then we'll break up and go to our different locations. When you registered today, you got an envelope that had a ticket for lunch, a ticket for the dance tonight, a schedule of what was going on today, and there's only been one change as far as a location, and that's the class of, it was 80s to 93. You will be meeting in the administration building. That's the blue building or gray building over there, kind of in the middle of the elementary buildings. And what we're going to try to do for lunch, we're going to start out and give a little paper here. I should have memorized by now. 1934 to 1949 will be going to the lunchroom first, and it's been set up in there for you to be able to eat in there. Also the 1960s, 60 through 69. Now, what we have for lunch today, we have a good hot lunch. We have fried chicken or barbecue sandwiches, coleslaw, potato salad, and baked beans. And for a special treat, we have ice cream with different toppings for dessert. The drinks that we have, there's still some coffee back there. If there's not, we'll make some more. Also, we have water and soft drinks. And if you registered, you'll have that ticket. If you don't have a ticket and you want to eat lunch, we will appreciate a donation of $5. Okay, then after that, when we break up here, we want you to go to those locations that have been specified on the back of your little schedule, okay? And then the lunch times will be changed a little bit because we got started later, but we will come to your room and get your class when we're ready to eat. It shouldn't take us a real long time to eat, because what we can do is when the 60s get through the line, they can come in here and eat, and then we can go get the next class. So I know you all are probably hungry by now. And I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but this building is a lot cooler. I know it's cooler outside, but this building would have been cooler anyway. And we want to thank Mr. Greg Adams. He works he's the head of the maintenance department of Floyd County Schools, and he made us a promise when we started talking about this, that this building would be air conditioned. And you wouldn't believe how hard they worked and how fast they worked to get that done. And Greg, we certainly do appreciate that. Okay, right now, I'd like to ask Billy to close us in prayer. Is there anything else we're going to think of?
We have another announcement coming up.
I think we all should stand and give Joan Chapin a standing ovation for all persons.
The chairwoman of the homecoming committee, Miss Joan Chapin, is a longtime teacher here at McDowell High School before she retired.
Thank you. This is the appreciation, just everybody showing up. This is great. We are so thankful that you came today. And I hope that you will be when this day's over and the dance tonight is at 7. I also would like to announce that we have a memorial service tomorrow at 2 o'clock. There will be a gospel sing at 1 o'clock down at the First Baptist Church, down here where the old railroad crossing used to be. And we have a special video that we will be honoring our teachers who have deceased. And the memorial service is a very special time, and I do hope that many of you will come.
Look to the Lord. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Heavenly Father, for this gathering here, for this homecoming today. And Heavenly Father, thank you for everyone that's been involved today. We want to thank you for all the aldermen, officers, and all that's been here today. And thank you again for the former teachers and all the students and the classmates that's been here today, Heavenly Father, and continue to bless us. Enjoy the memories that we've had in the time past, and help us enjoy it today, Heavenly Father. And Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for your plan of salvation. And Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for your blessings in time past and yet to come, Heavenly Father. May your grace, your love, and mercy abide with us today and throughout eternity. These blessings I ask in Jesus' name, and amen.
All right, Don, let's go over here just a minute and interview a very important celebrity who alluded to the Turner family.
Annuals that have been made up by Lenny at Barbara School.
Well, I was going to speak to him, and here I can talk to Teddy Lawson here. Both of them, my goodness. Old Teddy, ex-Daredevil, and worked our maintenance department down in Floyd County. How you doing, partner?
Doing very well, thank you.
Good, you're looking good.
Thank you.
What year did you graduate?
62.
62.
The same year you started.
First year I started.
I was a senior then.
Well, that's right. I remember that. You gained a few pounds since then. But
if you'd have come here 2 years early, maybe I would have got a play.
You probably would have. Pete Lawson. And he was here. First year I came to McDow in 61-62 as coach and teacher. And here's my good friend Bobby Turner. And I want to talk to him again about his sons. They were great basketball players. Bobby was a good one himself, and Ray, and Jimmy Gabe, and of course Firebug played under me, and was a great basketball player. David Turner, and later coached here at McDowell. Tell us a little bit about your boys. I could talk all day about them, but you're the father, and I know you're very proud of what they achieved.
Oh yeah, they're all three are just dandy boys. I mean, they never got into any trouble at all.
Yeah.
Just fantastic kids.
And Glenn led us in 1971 to the state championship, state tournament, and almost a state championship. If Anderson County hadn't beat us in 2 overtimes, we might have won it.
Right. And Neil took them in 1973.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, Brian was unlucky. He didn't get to go to state tournament. He was the last one. Last one of the 3. He didn't get to go.
But he did. He get to play with my son, Pete, and he were guards together.
David coached them.
They got beat on the last second shot. Doggone it.
Right. Yeah.
In the district, they had a pretty good team though. But I just want to say something about Neil Turner. Glenn, you know, has got a lot of the awards and a lot of the attention. But in '73. I don't think I ever had a better basketball player from January through the middle of March than Neil Turner.
He was the dandy, wasn't he?
Go ahead.
They had the first part of the season, they were really terrible.
Yes, they were. Neil said they would hardly come out and see us play.
That's right. But after, I guess about mid-season, they really cranked it up a notch, didn't they?
They certainly did.
And they wound up winning, 22 games and losing 10, I think. They won like 18 in a row?
Yeah, we won 18 out of our last 20, and the last team beat us in the state tournament. Madisonville beat us in the state tournament. Yeah. And Shawnee, we played Shawnee, the state champions, to be in '73 up here at McDowell, and they only beat us 5 points.
Right.
And we had them on the ropes.
That's right. Sure did.
So that team really came together and did an outstanding job.
I laughed at those black boys. They came over after the game was over and was talking to all the fans. You know, they said, "Where did you get all these guys that could jump like they could jump?" We had 3 kids on there that could stick their elbows down in the basket. And I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "This one kid here, Neil Moore, he could go up and stick his elbow down in the rim."
Absolutely.
Yeah. And my boy, Neil, he could go up and stick it in. And little Glenn Heinisch, he was just a little bitty guy, and he could go up and dunk it, about 5'6".
Yeah.
And they said it was amazing that those guys, Neil jumped about that high off the floor, Neil Moore.
You remember we had a jump ball play at the center line back in those days. Jump ball was still in existence.
Right.
And Neil could out jump anybody on a tip off at halftime and first start of the game, and any other jump balls. And at the start of the game, we had tip off play in halftime. He just knocked it down the court. Glenn would sit in front of him. Glenn would turn on a toss up and run. He knocked it down about the foul line. Glenn laid it in for layup, and he did it against Shawnee. And that Shawnee center went on to LSU and made all SEC.
Right. Yeah.
And that coach, he said he's hitting it on the way up. The opposing coach.
I don't think anyone out-jumped him all year long on tip-off.
No. They could not out-jump Neil Moore.
No.
And Ricky Roberts was another that could sky on that team.
Yeah, he could.
So only a sophomore, he could really jump.
He sure could, yeah.
Well, thanks, Bobby. It's good to talk with you. A lot of tradition there.
Good-looking lady coming down the street right here.
Well, I guess I could interview my wife for a second. Come on over here. Where are you going? Here's one of my ex-cheerleaders.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see you. He came in the year that I graduated. He was a coach the first year I graduated.
Yeah, right, right.
And we had a good team that year, too.
It sure did. We had a lot of good. Good to see you again. And in this group here is my wife, Phyllis Grigsby.
Hello there. I'm doing great. How are you?
Enjoying yourself?
Yes.
Okay. That's
Hi,
good.
Dr. Don.
How are you? This is great.
Well, it's great seeing you again.
Class of 1952. Cheerleader for a century and a half. No, 7 years only.
He'll catch it when he
She
goes
cheerleaded for 4 years while I was in high school.
That's right.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 years in grade school. And all varsity cheerleading. Thanks, honey. Good to see you here. Class of 1952.
Dr. Don, I forgot to shake your hand.
Nice to shake hands with you too, Mr. Turner.
Yeah.
Let's go over here and say hello to Dr. Roger Tackett. Here's Dr. Tackett. How you doing, Roger?
Just fine, Pete.
Good to see you again. You're
Good
looking
to be
fine.
here.
Doing good shape.
Yeah, well, boy, I'm doing all them exercises.
Former teacher at McDow High School and also a dentist. And I understand you've retired from dentist. Is that right? You're not retired?
No.
Well, good.
About 3 days a week.
Well, that's fine. I'm glad to hear that. And also, I hear he's a great dentist, too, and he was a good teacher here at McDowell.
Thank you, Pete.
How you and Frida getting along?
I can't find her. she left early.
Come on over here. We got 2 teachers over here I got to say hello to. You going to let me, Joe, say hello to Miss Violet Moore?
Camera with you.
I got that camera. You're on candid camera, Violet.
Smile.
We're just talking about that old WPA building over there. You and Francis taught a lot of the senior classes in.
Right.
Tell us about it.
Oh, that building will be there as long as I'm here. And Denny Howell, this is one of the things that went on over there. Denny Howell, I don't remember what year he graduated, but he would come over there at that building and he would run up the wall. I mean, that's true. And I'm standing there going, Lord help him, don't let him fall and break his leg.
How long did you teach here at McDowell, Violet?
33 years.
33 years. Did you enjoy it?
Really and truly, it's 33 and a half. I had to take a half year off for this one.
Yeah.
But I was 33 years, they got on the record. Did I enjoy it? You ought to know I loved it.
I know you did. I wanted to hear you say it.
I loved it, yeah.
You getting along all right? You're looking good?
Oh, I feel fine. I just can't walk.
Well.
And that drives me nuts because I like to run down there and shoot the ball.
Not many people know this, that she played girls high school basketball here at McDowell back in the early days of beginning girls high school basketball in the state, correct?
That's right, me and Oneida.
What years were those now, Violet? I forgot.
What was the very first years? Now, don't ask me to remember dates. You know I never could.
33, 34, 35 sounds right.
No, it's not.
36, 37.
I graduated 42. Go back from that.
Okay.
Probably 40, 41.
40.
Graduated in 42.
I think it was.
Olive Rose was our coach.
Yeah.
Clive Akers first.
Yeah.
And then he retired, and then it was Olive Rose. But I can't remember dates. And since I've had this stroke, I think it sapped my brain considerably. That's the truth.
Oh, bless you, Violet. And behind her is another descendant of hers, another teacher, another student. Now, have you retired from South Floyd? Bobby Lynn Moore taught here for many years at South Floyd High School. Tell us about it, Bobby Lynn.
I started my teaching career here and stayed until they closed the doors and went to South Floyd, you know, the consolidation of McDowell and Wheelwright, and I love it in both places.
Are you still at South Floyd?
I'm still at South Floyd. This makes my 35th year of teaching school.
You trying to beat mine and Anna Sue's record?
Yeah, I'm going to put you all to shame.
Miss Bobby Lynn Moore, it's good to see you, Bobby Lynn. I'll be up at South Floyd. Over here's 2 more distinguished people. You want to say hello to us, partner?
Hello, I'm just here to see Miss Moore, give her a hug.
Okay, good.
Good to see you, Pete.
And here's Reba Martin, and this is the mother of one of our more famous basketball daredevils, Tommy Martin. And it's good to see you out and about today.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. What's Tommy doing?
Well, he's in Lexington about 6 months out of the year, and in Florida 6 months out of the year, and on the golf course a year. Year round.
Is he as good a golfer as he was basketball player?
No. No, he's not. Yeah. But he does pretty good at golf, and
he just commutes, you know. He does most of his business on the telephone. He can be anywhere.
Tell us your history and connection with McDowell as a student.
I started out school here, and I graduated from here, and that was it. I got married on graduation day, 49, and that was the last year that they had countywide graduation at Prestonsburg.
Well, that's great. Good record. And you've been living in Left Beaver Creek most all the time.
I call myself a tri-state kid. We were in Virginia for about 6 years, and then went to high. Then I was postmaster at Drift for 28 years.
Yeah. And I was sure glad you moved back from Ohio, I think it was, because you brought Tommy back. And
you had something to do with that.
Absolutely. Tell them about it.
I never was told, but I had a suspicion that you had something to do with it. But I wanted to come back, and I think Tommy wanted to come back.
Well, he saw us go to state tournament in '66, and the boys knew we had Tommy up through the grade school, and we knew he could play, so we Tommy, come on back to McDow and help us, and he did.
Yeah, and the year he graduated was the year you all would have went to state that year, really and truly, if he hadn't had the flu. But he had the flu, and that was what kept you from doing it.
Yeah, Meade beat us 2 points in the finals of 15th regional down in Prestonsburg.
And he shouldn't even been on the floor, and he had the flu.
Great basketball player, had a good career at East Tennessee State University. He went on, Dr. Don, and in the All-Star game his senior year, Tennessee versus Kentucky, Adolph Rupp was coaching that ball club, and Tommy did really good in that All-Star game. And Adolph said, "Was that one of your boys, Pete?" And I said, "It sure was." He said he could play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's quite a compliment for Coach
He got 11 points in that game and only played so many seconds.
Yeah. He did a great job. So tell Tommy hello for me, will you?
I will. He's up here every now and then.
Well, good. Tell him I said hi.
I will.
Good to see you again.
Good seeing you, Pete.
All right, let's go on over here and see some more there. Here's one. I've got her. Come here, Danielson. Huh? Oh, if you want to get a picture of us, then all right. Dr. Don will have to film it. He's got the camera going. Okay. Come here now, Danielson. Come here. One of my old buddies here, school buddies.
Hi, Dr.
McDowell. McDowell graduate.
Class of 1960, Dr. Don. It's a pleasure to be here and meet old friends and teachers and relive our memories is what we've got, and certainly throughout our nation this weekend as we have memorials and everybody can relive of times gone by and the school years. It's always a pleasure to get a chance to speak to Mr. Grigsby, a fine schoolman and a good coach, our mentor for many of us students here at McDowell. Pete, it's a pleasure, okay? And you all have a good weekend. May the Lord bless all.
He's assistant principal down at Adams right now. He's been retired, but he's come back working with us. Long-time principal at Allen Elementary and teacher, and so he's had a fabulous career. Danny Branson.
Thank you, guys.
Any of your brothers here?
No, they couldn't make it. I have a sister, though, came out of Tennessee. First time in 48 years she made one.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Danny, good to talk with you, buddy. And we're just panning the crowd here. And want to see here. Come here.
What's that?
Introduce yourself to them. Tell them what, this is one of our ex-cheerleaders. I was trying to get the ex-cheerleaders to stand. They didn't stand long enough. Here's one of them that we had when I first came to McDowell.
Yeah, and you married my cousin.
That's right.
That's right. My name is Sharon Rose Little Blair. I graduated in 1964. Very proud of it. Love McDowell.
Absolutely love McDowell. And
love my family too.
Absolutely. And your brother was one of the finest young men I ever worked with here at McDowell High School. My first manager, Dwayne. I really miss him, and I really love Dwayne.
Thank you. Thank you. We all miss him.
Absolutely.
But he was a blessing while we had him.
He's got a fine family I see occasionally, especially that state trooper.
Sean.
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Sharon Rose Little, ex-cheerleader. Let's walk back through here, see some of the crowd. Mr. Newman.
Yes, sir.
Larry Newman.
Yeah,
good to see you again.
Pete, good to see you.
Junior, get over here. Bascom Horn Jr.,
Yes,
one
sir.
of my managers. And what year did you graduate?
64.
64. Okay.
1964.
All right. Yeah, it was a good year. Good year. And Larry, that's your mother?
That is my mother. She graduated in 1934, and her mind's sharp as a tack. I guess I should have let her talk a while ago. She doesn't hear well, and they kind of put the mic in my hands, and but she knows just about everybody that grew up around McDowell, all these little hollers and creeks, and just.
Now, where is she living now?
She lives on Big Mud Creek, and she's a little incapacitated. We have help for her during the week, but I have two brothers, Gary and Jim, which some people in the county probably know, and we alternate weekends. Every third weekend, we help her.
Well, now Gary was principal over at Johnny M. Stumble when I was superintendent, and when I was principal here. So, exactly. And Gary's retired now, and so is his wife.
Exactly. Yes, and Betty was a teacher also.
Absolutely, Betty, and she works with Quality Kids, I believe, over at Betsy Lane.
That's correct.
Yeah. We've had some dealings with her. Faith helped us on our archery program in our school system this past year or two.
Great. Very good.
Junior, you got anything to say?
Not a whole lot. Just glad to be here. It's good to see everybody. I walked in and said, my goodness, everybody's old. Isn't that amazing?
We're getting older, aren't we?
Exactly.
It's great to be here.
Ask him he's a phone technician. He's among the best. And
down in Lexington.
Yeah, he retired once, but I've got a complicated phone system, and he's come and helped me out on several occasions.
Now, I've been down there many years ago when he was an electrician for Rupp Arena, and I'd see him down there sitting at the table, top seats, I'm telling you. Is that right, Junior?
That's correct. Good.
Are you still doing that service?
No. I retired from GTE.
Okay.
So.
All right. Good fella. Good to meet you guys. Good to say hello to you. Good to see you. Have a good time. I know you will.
Will do.
Great.
All right, Dr. Don. Where is your mother? Is she still around? Could we talk to her?
Yes, indeed.
Wait right there. Mrs. Newman, I'm Pete Grigsby, and that's Dr. Don on the camera, WPRG TV 5.
Tell you that we got a good thing going, you know.
Yes, we have.
And we work after it.
We certainly do. You're looking fine.
Well, thank you. I've lost an awful lot of weight. I've survived cancer 3 times.
Well, you hang right in there. You're doing. How old are you now? We're here at my office, in central office in Prestonburg, Kentucky, at the Board of Education after the ceremonies, homecoming this past weekend, and particularly after Dr. Don and I were very encouraged at homecoming to get to visit with so many people, so many alumni, and be in the assembly, the great assembly that put on by the homecoming committee. Joan Chaffins, the chairman of the committee, and all the festivities and activities that's gone on here in the past. Last night was the basketball games and some bluegrass music, and today they have a dance scheduled for tonight, Saturday night, and then all the classes are going to meet, and we're just wrapping this thing up here because at the assembly, while we have been interviewing individuals as well as classmates and all the officials at the homecoming ceremony. And we're at my office here now, and we want to show you a little bit of history before we close this thing off. Dr. Don's still on the camera. I'm still on the mic as usual. And I'm Pete Grigsby, Jr., bringing you the closing of this official film of homecoming in 1993 back to 1934 McDowell High School homecoming, Labor Day weekend 2006. On my wall, you have some of the history of the McDowell High School. In the center is the main administration building, 1938 building, which we showed earlier before we taped the festivities. This is the WPA building we were talking about, Dr. Don, in our pre-show interviews. And built, I don't know the age of that, but it's this is the new Grigsby Fieldhouse. This is where the assembly was being held a while ago, but everyone has watched. Up here is the old gymnasium, years and years ago, that stood before Grigsby Fieldhouse was opened in 1976. This is where we took 3 basketball teams to the state tournament at McDowell High School. And this is a new administration building in the 1980s that was built on campus. So that's a nice picture done by Johnny Stumbo, former art teacher at McDowell High School. So before we close out, we want to show you some of the history of the teams that went to the state tournament at McDowell High School that was honored Friday night with the basketball old-timers game, I call it, but really it's officially alumni games. And Johnny Ray Turner coached one team, and I coached the other. And we ended up 35-35 tie. And all these pictures here that Don is filming, this one is 1966, first team that I took to the state tournament for McDow, 1966, headed up by All-State Ricky Hall, Tracy Stumbo, Arnold Turner Jr., Woody Carter, Wade Tackett, Donnie Hall, Sammy Adams, and Terry Heinisch, just to mention a few. Teddy Stumbo, assistant coach Sam Martin, Principal Lloyd Stumbo. There's Danny Blanton holding up his V, one of my top managers. Carlos Spurlock. And so anyway, that's the first team that went to the state for McDow, 66. And then over here on my wall, I have a lot of nice pictures from my memories as coach at McDowell High School. Here's the 1971 team, 34-6 record, one of the top-ranking teams in the state, in the top 5 all year long in the AP poll. And number 55 is Big Steve Smith, 6'11", headed up by, next to him, 6'6", Salisbury, Steve Salisbury, and we had Michael Turner there. Dickie Tackett, who's now a dentist up there at McDowell. Gary Hopkins, longtime teacher who's retired on the end there, was one of the top 5. Glenn Turner, All-Stater. He made All-State in that tournament. And in 1971, we lost double overtime to Anderson County. And they went on to be runners-up in the state. We beat Middlesboro in the opening round. That was a really good ball club, very, very solid in all phases of the game. And then the third team took the state tournament. Dr. Don was 1973, record 25-12. This team didn't come on until January. We were down 7-10 record in January of that 73 year, and won 18 of our last 20 games. Headed up by Neil Turner, who averaged during that period of time about 29, 30 points a game. And he had Neil Moore, and he had Glennie Heinisch, a top point guard at that time. James Tackett, Johnny Pack, Ricky Roberts, just to name a few of the boys. And these were fine boys who worked together. Only teams that beat McDowell in the last 2.5 months of that season was the state champion, Shawnee, beat us at McDowell 5 points. That's all they beat us. They went on and won the state championship. Then we lost to Madisonville in the first round of the state in 1973. A surprise team with great teamwork. Didn't have the ability as many of my other teams or the talent, but they all put it together. I'm telling you, played as a unit. So there you have the teams that were honored there Friday night, Dr. Don. And it's been a really great event this year, as always. I want to congratulate on behalf of PRG, myself, and all those who have enjoyed the homecoming events, the committee that put it together, the hard work of Jerry Turner and her staff, especially the cooks who put on a very fine lunch that we enjoyed. Right, Don?
We loved that lunch. We did indeed, Pete. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about this picture right over here. This picture of the University of Kentucky Wildcats. I'm going to zoom in and put on the camera number 25 right here with Coach Adolph Rupp's University of Kentucky Wildcats. Who's that number 25 right there, Pete?
Well, that's yours truly. I'm proud to have been a member of that squad, the only undefeated team in the history of the University of Kentucky Wildcats. We were 25-0 that year, ranked first in the nation, headed up by 3 All-Americans, Cliff Hagan. Frank Ramsey went on to Boston Celtic careers, St. Louis Hawks, and Lou Seropoulos, 3 All-Americans that year, and I was very proud to have been on that ball club. I've told everybody but since then, I said I had the best seat in the house. I saw a lot of good basketball that year, sitting there next to Coach Rupp. So,
Point yourself out over there on
oh, okay, 25. Right? That's me right there.
Right.
And I played high school basketball at Martin Purple Flash under Coach Denzel Hobart. And when Coach Rupp came up there my senior year and signed me to a full basketball scholarship to play at UK, and listen, I was overjoyed, and he laid it, and that's where I went. back in those days, you didn't turn down Adolph Rupp. When he wanted you, you went. And oh boy, I turned down a lot of other scholarships to go to UK, but I enjoyed it and learned a lot of basketball.
Two more pictures on the wall, Pete. Right, this one right here, the small picture. Let's start with that one right there. Is that Hoss Halbert?
That's Coach Halbert. This is 1966 in March at Prestonburg Fieldhouse. I'm holding the 15th Regional Championship trophy with the net around my neck, and Coach Halbert came down the floor to congratulate me. I played 5 years under Coach Halbert, 4 years as a starter there at the Purple Flash. We won the first district championship in '49 at Martin, and he was our coach. And he'd gone to state the year before, '65, and Martin did, and we went and followed him up in '66. That was my high school coach. And, of course, I had two pretty good coaches there, in Denzel Halbert and Adolph Rupp, and I learned quite a bit of basketball under them.
Okay, and the two pictures here, and then the picture of the girl playing basketball up here on top. Let's get that picture too.
Oh, which one do you want first?
Let's do these two right here first, and then we'll move up and get the all-time girl basketball player.
Okay. This is me, a picture sent to me by the Courier-Journal. The first East-West All-Star basketball game held in Memorial Coliseum in 1952 during the summer. That's me, 34, shooting a reverse layup. I tell everybody, and when I show them that picture, Dr. Don, that Michael Jordan did not invent the reverse layup. I got fouled there by Cookie Grallmeyer, made 2 foul shots, and had a good game that night. In All-Star games, you don't play a whole lot, but I think I was leading scorer for the East that night. And this is a reunion 1986 of this 54 team, and that was for Midnight Madness, as I recall. Cliff Hagan was the AD, got everything together. We went on the Coliseum floor before Midnight Madness began at 12 o'clock, or 12:01, and we had a reunion, 32-year reunion. And there's teammates that could make it that night, 2 of his team over here in 54. So you see, we aged a little bit during that period of time, and that was our reunion. We shot baskets and layups and played a little 3-on-3 and then signed autographs until Eddie Sutton and his Wildcats came on the floor at 12:01 that night, and that Coliseum was really loaded. It was full to capacity. And now,
the girls' basketball picture right up here on top above the montage of the McDowell High School.
Well, that's a very proud picture of mine that I keep here in my office, as you see up at the top. It's my daughter Jerry, and she was Miss Basketball in 1977 from McDowell High School. She played in the Kentucky-Indiana All-Star Games. There's 2 of them at Indianapolis and at Louisville in those days. She's wearing number 1 Miss Basketball, and that's Miss Basketball of Indiana trying to guard her. Jerry's got to step on her with a left-handed dribble going down the left-hand side, and she scored. Courier-Journal sent us that picture. They put it in the paper, and Jerry scored 30 points that night, and then the next Saturday night she scored 24, and she scored the 24 points with 5.5 minutes left in the game. In those days, Kentucky dominated the girls' All-Star games with Indiana. And that made the 2 wins that year, and in '76 and 1-2. They had about a 4-0 record early in the series against Indiana. And the Courier-Journal sent us that picture. So I'm very indebted. They sent me one when I was playing All-Star games. They sent me one later when Jerry played in it. So very proud of those pictures and what it exemplifies on my wall and the history that it has. So. Well, Don,
we're very honored to share them with our television audience, Pete.
Well, I hope they are.
I'll tell you what, we're very honored indeed to have you doing our play-by-play in 15th Region High School basketball right here in Eastern Kentucky, Pete. Thanks so much for doing the game.
Well, thank you, Don. And you and I will be starting, I think, our 17th year together this coming year.
Yes, we will.
Mr.
Can't wait to basketball.
I can't. Mr. Paul Gerhardt told me in his office a couple of weeks ago. He said, "Peter, you going to do it again this year?" And I said, "Sure am." He said, "Boy, that's great." He said, "I want you to do those games for us." And I said, "I enjoy it, Paul." And he said, "I can't wait till it starts." See, he's a big basketball fan, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, we've had a wonderful time with the McDowell Homecoming over the Labor Day holiday here in 2006, and I believe we're going to close it out. You're going to give us some information how folks watching at home, or if some of their friends or neighbors who don't have access to the cable television. They live in these other states and they want to know how to get a DVD or a VHS tape. You're going to close it out by telling us how they can get copies of the McDowell High School Homecoming for 2006.
Thank you, Don. All day long on Saturday at the festivities, activities, and particularly that night at the dance, the alumni people were asking me about the tapes that we were taking for this alumni homecoming. And this is the information you need. Dr. Don has given it to me, and the station is going to sell the tapes. It won't be the homecoming committee. It'll be WPRG TV 5. You can get a VHS tape or a DVD tape, a record from them, and be copies of this film, this homecoming film. They'll be available for $20 from WPRG TV 5 at Harold, Kentucky. And you can call 606-478-4200 to contact WPRG TV 5, and they'll accommodate you with taking your address and mailing you a DVD or VHS of the homecoming events of this film that Don and I have produced for the station. So with that, we want to thank you for sharing all of this information and history and events and gala events that we've had, and the enjoyment that Don and I have bringing the homecoming events to you at McDowell High School 2006. McDowell High School from 1934 to 1993. So with that, we're going to sign off and hope you enjoy the festivities that we're showing you, the interviews that we're showing you, the assembly we're showing you. And of course, Dr. Don has had me to give you a lot of history of my history and tenure at McDowell High School, plus a lot of the teams and the boys and the players. And I want to say this, for the things that's on my walls and the memories that I have of my coaching career at McDowell High School, my boys did it. Our fans did it. Administration did it. We all worked it together, and that's why we were successful. So thank you. So long until we see you again. Dr. Don and I will be out there in the 15th region somewhere bringing you basketball.